Imagine this. You have worked your entire life for something precious. Maybe it is your career, your family, a dream you have nurtured for decades. And then, in one devastating moment, you are asked to let it all go. Not because you failed, not because you were not good enough, but because sometimes life demands the impossible. Maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you are living it right now. In our world of constant connection, yet profound loneliness, many of us feel spiritually adrift, going through the motions of faith, while our hearts feel empty. We have built our lives around what we think matters, only to discover we are holding on to things that leave us feeling more isolated than ever. Today, we are diving into one of the most challenging yet transformative stories ever told, the account of Abraham and Isaac. It is a story that will shake you, challenge everything you think you know about trust, and ultimately heal something deep within your soul. This is not just ancient history. This is your story, my story, our collective journey toward understanding what it means to truly surrender and discover that God's love never fails us, even in our darkest moments. If this resonates with your heart, please subscribe and share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Abraham was no stranger to waiting. For 25 years, he and Sarah had hoped, prayed, and longed for a child. 25 years of empty cradles, of watching other families grow while theirs remained incomplete. And then, miraculously, Isaac arrived. Their laughter, their joy, their everything. Isaac was not just their son. He represented every promise God had ever made to Abraham. Through this boy, nations would be blessed. Through him, Abraham's legacy would endure forever. Isaac was the living, breathing proof that God keeps his word. But then came the test that would break every parent's heart. Scripture tells us that God spoke to Abraham, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering." Can you imagine? The God who had promised everything was now asking for everything. Think about the modern parent who finally gets that promotion they have worked toward for years, only to be transferred across the country from aging parents who need them. Or the couple who finally conceives after years of infertility, only to face devastating medical news. Sometimes life asks us to release what we treasure most, and we are left wondering, God, are you still good? If this story is speaking to your heart, pause and share it with a friend who might need this message of hope. Abraham could have argued. He could have questioned. Instead, he rose early, not because it was easy, but because his relationship with God ran deeper than his understanding. He saddled his donkey, gathered wood for the sacrifice, and began the 3-day journey to Mount Moriah with Isaac by his side. 3 days, 72 hours of walking alongside the son he had been asked to sacrifice. Watching Isaac's innocent excitement about their worship journey, hearing his voice, seeing his smile, every step must have felt like torture. Yet, Abraham kept walking. This is where so many of us find ourselves today, in that space between God's promise and its apparent contradiction. We are walking in faith while our hearts are breaking. We are trusting while everything looks hopeless. We are saying yes to God while our minds scream, "This makes no sense." On the 3rd day, Abraham saw the place. He left his servants behind and climbed the mountain with Isaac, carrying fire and knife, while his son carried the wood. And then came Isaac's question that must have shattered Abraham's heart. "Father, where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham's response reveals everything about his faith. God will provide for himself the lamb. He did not understand how, but he believed that the God who had given Isaac could be trusted with Isaac's future. Even if that future looked impossible from where Abraham stood, at the appointed place, Abraham built the altar, arranged the wood, and bound Isaac. The text does not tell us if Isaac resisted, but the silence suggests a young man who trusted his father completely. Even in this terrifying moment, Abraham raised the knife. This was not pretense. This was complete surrender. He had released his grip on everything he held dear, choosing to trust God's character over his own understanding. And in that moment of absolute surrender, heaven intervened. "Abraham, Abraham," the angel's voice stopped everything. "Do not lay your hand on the boy, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket, God's provision exactly when it was needed. He named that place, "The Lord will provide," and that name echoes through eternity, reminding us that our provider sees, knows, and acts at the perfect moment. But here is the beautiful truth. Isaac was not taken away, he was given back. The relationship was not destroyed, it was transformed. Abraham's faith was not diminished, it was refined. What looked like ending became a new beginning, richer and deeper than before. If you have never delved into the Bible, this story might seem extreme, even troubling. But here is what it is really about. Discovering that God's love for us runs so deep that He will never ask us to sacrifice something without providing something greater. The test is not about loss, it is about trust. The surrender is not about destruction, it is about transformation. If your spiritual journey feels derailed, if you are holding too tightly to things that are meant to be held loosely, if you are afraid to trust because you have been hurt before, Abraham's story is your invitation to discover that letting go is not losing, it is finding. God is not asking you to sacrifice what you love because He is cruel. He is inviting you to discover that His provision exceeds anything you could arrange for yourself. Your Isaac, whatever that represents in your life, is not being taken away. It is being entrusted to the one who loves it even more than you do. May you find the courage to climb your Mount Moriah, knowing that the God who provides will meet you there. May you discover that surrender is not defeat, it is victory. May you experience the profound peace that comes from trusting completely in unfailing love. Like this video if it touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this hope, and subscribe for more stories that transform. And as always, peace, love, light, and unity.